Hello everyone, I am here. We have kind of a special tea time today, and I'll tell you why in just a few seconds. I need to get to the live stream so I can answer your guys' questions. So hello Von Doom, hello Ivan, let's see here. Hello Dread Production, hello Haley, hello Benny and the Jets, hello... Hello everybody. So I'm going to begin warming up the teapot and the teacup. So I will be off screen for a second, but I am here, just so you know. So just a second. And then, it's so loud outside. It's like getting in the way of my live stream. Okay, hold on. I'll be off screen for just a second, but I'll be right here. I just have to warm up the teapot and the teacup, and then the, what do you call it? The kettle will be on. So that's all warmed up. Okay, just a second, you guys. Adjust my... I have to pad the seat because the seat is too low for this countertop. Scoot back a little bit? Okay. Oh, okay, so I see a ton of comments on my computer screen, but my comments in my chat is not working. Let me try that again. Here we go. Alright, hello Thomas. Ken says, when we stayed on the Queen Mary, the hotel walls seemed really thin. Do you think when the shop was active, or ship was active, engine noise would have canceled out any noise from the next room over? Actually, yes. That's exactly what it was. So the ship was actually very loud. It wasn't just the engines. It was the roar of the ocean. It was the steam going through the pipes and the walls, because there were steam heaters throughout the ship. So... you would have heard that. You would have heard the ventilation. The ventilation would have made a whirring noise. And so you would have heard that going through the walls. And then if it was daytime, well, I guess it's not daytime, nighttime, I guess. Let's just say it was nighttime when you're trying to sleep. Yeah, you'd hear the roar of the ocean, the rumble of the engines, the low hiss of the steam going through the heating pipes throughout the ship, and then the ventilation. It wouldn't have been so loud that you can't sleep necessarily. I think people get used to those kinds of noises when they're on a ship, but yes, it was loud enough that any noise from next door wouldn't have been so prominent. Yeah. Mark says, I'm on my way to the ballroom for tea and scones. Awesome. Let's see. Hello, John. Hello, Mr. Olives. Tyler Frederick says, "Hello, Alex. Saw your newest video. You gave me a lot to think about." Oh, thanks. I forgot that I posted a video today. I had it on automatic publish. So, Mark Cooper says, "Oh my God, Alex, do I see scones? Oh my God, do I see jam and clotted cream?" That was the surprise for today. So, I made scones. I have proper baking utensils. Let me just tell you firsthand, I do, but they're in the garage. I haven't brought them out yet. So I made scones today, and I cut them into squares because that was the easiest. And the camera like really over brightens it, but it is golden. It's perfectly gold. Like it's beautiful. And I did taste one. They are really fluffy and delicious. But I didn't cut them thick enough because the instructions that I was reading from the recipe really didn't make sense to me. So, I mean, I actually had to adjust the recipe as I was making it because they said this is how the dough should turn out, this is how this should turn out. And when I was making it, I'm like, that step isn't turning out the way it's supposed to be. That step isn't turning out the way. But I do have an education in pastries, so I do know how to fix those kinds of things. I had to adjust the recipe as I went along. As for the jam, yes, I have some blueberry preserves. Make sure that's half. I have some blueberry preserves and some cream. But I do have to explain myself a second. Hold on. That's stage 2 of pre-warming the teapot and kettle. So I'll move the teacup back here, actually. So, so the clotted cream, I have to explain this for a second because I don't want you guys to get your hopes up. I looked into buying clotted cream. It is too expensive. I think the cheapest thing I saw was a small little bottle of it for, I think it was $6 or $8 or something. And I would have gone through it like that. It was too fast. So I thought, well, I'll make it. And I looked at a bunch of recipes, and it takes days to make it. You know, I think, well, I mean, I say days, but what I mean is the steps of making it takes days. One recipe tried to cut down the time by having you cook it overnight. But the thing is trying to make clotted cream in my oven would take up a lot of electricity. It would be really expensive. My sleeves are popping out of my other shirt. Wonderful. Anyway, so I looked at it every way I could. I cannot make clotted cream. It's too expensive to make and too expensive to buy. So I have a cheat for that. I used to have a cafe, and I used to serve English scones, and I served it with a side of cream. I didn't call it clotted cream, but yeah, cream. And there's a cheat to it. So basically, it's a little bit of cream cheese and a whole lot of whipping cream, and you whip it together until it has the same consistency as clotted cream. It doesn't taste so cream cheesy. It's not like super sour like cream cheese can be. But it does have a sweetness to it, and especially if you put like a little bit of sugar. But yeah, it is a cheat that I do because I literally tried looking into it. I tried looking if I could just buy clotted cream, and I looked at how I could make it, and both ways were just too expensive for the effort. So I do not have actual clotted cream. Yeah, but otherwise, Mark Cooper says, cream is just fine, Alex. That's what I use here, too. Thank you. That makes me feel better, because I knew I'd be like, if I told people I don't actually have clotted cream, I knew that they'd be like, what? Blasphemy. So, yeah. But now I have finished pre-warming this. And time to dump it all out. Oh, I forgot I was going to bring that back up to a boil. It's still at boiling temperature, thank goodness, but it is really hot in my house because ever since I made those scones, the house has not recovered from the heat. Oh, wrong. I was gonna pour it in the thing. Yeah, because this apartment, it's designed to hold in heat, so the walls are a foot thick, you know, for winter time and stuff. So when I bake, the house gets really warm and it does not cool down. So I'm actually just too warm in here, which kind of sucks because the cream I made is going to melt. So, yeah. Let's see here. Ivan says, liked your new video. I definitely live in Titanic. Just give me Wi-Fi and Cafe Parisien. Adam says, oh, I see scones. Yes. Mr. Olive says, Alex, if you had to pick, what is your favorite ship from Cunard line? My favorite ship from Cunard line is the RMS Queen Mary. If I had to pick a close second, it would be the RMS Mauritania from 1907. Chlorine says, hello from the Republic of France. Hello. I would try to say that in French the way she wrote it, but Bonjour de République Française. Tell me if I did that right. Ken says, so they probably made the walls thin to lessen weight high in the superstructure. Well, I think really it was more about saving space, because the thicker the walls are, the more space you're wasting. So if they could make every wall down the length of the ship a little bit thinner, they could actually make enough room at the end for, you know, like a tiny cabin or something. So by sparing the room, they were able to actually make more money per square footage. Benny the Jet says, like the new video. Thank you. Mark Cooper says, your scones look mega Cunard. Love, love, love it. So excited. I am excited too. I just wish I'd cut them thicker because they're a little thin. So now I will have to use the knife to cut it. I didn't even check what time I put the tea in the pot. Wonderful. I should have checked. I think it was 2 minutes ago. Yeah, I'm going to call it 2 minutes ago. Goofy Roll says, hi Alex, do you think it would be good? I can't pronounce that word. To cut the sandwiches diagonally instead of into rectangles? So the American way is to cut them into triangles, but traditionally in the UK they would cut them into these fingers, as they call them, or you can cut them into squares. So that means, like, usually once you take the crust off, you can cut it in half and it's 2 squares, or you can cut it into thirds and it's fingers. That's how they do it there. But yeah, cutting into triangles is very much an American thing. Strasbourg Rail Fanner says, I saw 2 World War II ships on the way home yesterday from vacation. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Adam says, I have made clotted cream before. It is super easy, but it takes time, and it makes a lot and does not last. It's a hassle. Yeah, exactly. I was looking at the recipes, and I was just like, this is... If I was having a party, for instance, if I was having tea with a bunch of people, yeah, I might go through the trouble and make Devonshire cream, especially if I think we're going to consume it all. But I wasn't sure that I would be able to consume it fast enough. And all that effort, it takes 12 hours in the oven to do it, and then you have to cool it after that. And then after you cool it, then you have to remove the clotted cream from the top. And I was just like, that's too much effort for just me, you know? Ivan Joseph says, is the Spruce Goose the only aircraft you find interesting? Yeah, pretty much. I'm not an aircraft person. Not into helicopters or planes or gliders or anything. The Spruce Goose was interesting. I think it's interesting to me not because it's an aircraft, but because of the story behind it. That's what's interesting to me. Whereas ocean liners, they interest me because they're ocean liners. They have a specific look and everything. And of course their stories can be interesting as well. But yeah, with the Spruce Goose, I don't like it so much because it's a plane. Like, I don't look at it and go, it's beautiful. Like, I don't do that. Like, I look at it and I go, well, that's an ugly thing, but the story is amazing. so that's how I do things. So 14. I should probably do the. Norwegian American Line asks, what is your favorite non-British ocean liner? So it would probably have to be a tie between the SS Paris 1916 or the Kronprinz Wilhelm. I forget what year that was from. 1890s, but the Kronprinz Wilhelm, I think. So it's a tie between those because they're so good looking. I like the way those ships look on the inside. The outside, not so much, but the inside, yeah. Mr. Olive says, I like the Titanic in the background. I am making a model too. Ha! Oh, that's hot. Every time I open the lid, it's burning hot. Okay, there we go. When will I learn? I won't. I won't learn. I refuse to learn. There we go. Ooh, that's a really hot lid. There we are. See, I made quite a few of these scones, and I don't think I'll be able to eat them all either, so I think I might give some to my sister and give her some of the cream I made to go with it. She has jam. Everybody has jam. Alright, I'll put that back here so it's out of my way. Alright. Some sugar. And then I ran out of oat milk, so today I have lactose-free whole milk. And yes, I have tried other milks, such as soy, coconut. I've had pea milk and all kinds of stuff, but the only alternative milk I enjoy is oat milk. So if I'm going to have, a cow milk, it's going to be lactose free. Like I said, I don't know what it is. I can have the Devonshire cream, I can have the cream cheese, but when I drink milk or something, it just kills me. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm excited to try these scones, so without any further ado... Wait. Ivan says, I don't think I've heard you speak about this. Care to choose and explain why Olympic class versus Lusitania class? LOL, for me it's obvious. Olympic class liners are out of this world. I like the Lusitania class because they're really, really fast. I think they're more beautiful than the Olympic class, both outside and inside. That's just my opinion. And they're Cunard. Cunard is my favorite ocean line. Alright, I'm really excited. So, is it jam first or cream first? I don't remember. Somebody tell me. And after you add the cabbage and the cream, do you sandwich it together or just eat it, like, in halves? How do you... I actually forgot to, like, look it up and actually see, like, how people eat scones. Needs more Disneyland cabbage, yeah. Strasbourg Girl Fan says, have you ever been on a cruise ship? No, and I don't really plan to. The only ship I plan to be on is the Queen Mary 2, which is technically an ocean liner, and I plan to take that across the Atlantic, but that's the only ship I have plans to. Von Doom says, Alex, like or hate RMS Carpathia? Wish you would do a video on her with your opinions. Darn it. I think she was a pretty good-looking ship with her one funnel. Yeah, I think she was a very good-looking ship. I don't know much about Carpathia, though. It's still have to do a lot of research on ships. Because I'm so new to it. I don't even know what... I can't even picture the way Carpathia looks in my head that well, and I don't even know what it looks like on the inside. I don't even know what a single room in the Carpathia looks like on the inside. So, I'm so new to ocean liners that I don't know. So, all I know is the Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth. Those are the two ships I can say that I know a whole lot about. Thomas Brooks said, enjoyed the live streams last night. Like to see Titanic in different ways, yes. No one's talking about the cream, so... Jam first, says Mark Cooper. Okay, I will take that as the final answer. So jam first. I like blueberries, so it's blueberry jam this time. The little dishes that are holding the jam and the cream are also from the Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth. They're Cunard. They're called, what are they called? Clamshell butter pat plates. So they're for butter, but I mean, essentially, I don't have any other way to use it. So jam first. Add a little bit of cream next. Shave a little more off the top. There we go. Just because I can. I'm so excited. I'll set that here. Bottoms up. Oh my lord. That is really good. Perfect. Now I finally know why we have scones with tea. It goes really well. It's not overly sweet because the scones themselves, for my American friends here, They're a lot like an American biscuit, except they're not savory. They're they're not sweet either. They're closer to sweet than they are savory. They're really they're just bread, to be totally honest. It's just leavened bread, but very soft on the inside, and has got a nice little crust on the outside. Um, yeah, and then the cream that goes on it, like the clotted cream. I've had clotted cream before. It's not overly sweet. It's only as sweet as milk is sweet. Um, and the sweetest thing on here is the jam, honestly. So it's not an overload of sweetness the way we might expect. H1 says, the only ship I've ever been on was the Queen Mary back in the early 90s. I've been on, so me myself, I've been on some war ships, but the only passenger ship I've ever been on was the Queen Mary as well. I've never been on a passenger ship before. Mr. Olive says, do you know if anything could have saved Titanic? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. Norwegian American Line. No, I haven't heard of the Sanders Row Princess. So I guess whether you put the cream or the jam first depends on whether you're Cornwall or Devon. What would I be? Maybe Devon. I don't know. You split as you have done, then jam first, dollop of cream, and top and eat as is, not as sandwich. Ah, I see. Okay, good. I didn't think you. I didn't think you should sandwich it. I was like, I don't know if I should sandwich it. Armis Queen Mary says, why is Cunard only focusing on the Queen class? Because now that they don't have a huge company the way that they used to, they only need to do cruises. And, you know, and the QE2 and the Queen Mary 2 have garnered them a really great reputation. So they've continued on with the Queen ships. I wouldn't call them a Queen class, though, because at least 3 different types of ships have been used while they've built them, so. Little Gamer says, you're a British person in 1923. What line and what ship do you go on? Cunard Line, Mauritania, honestly. Next runner-up, though, would actually be White Star Line, Olympic. Yeah, this is really good, Benny. Mark Cooper says, this is exactly how the Queen takes her scones at a tea party. What the Queen does is gospel. El Nino says, can you do a video on the men who went down with Titanic as they tried to keep her alive? I honestly have so much respect for them, and I don't think people in today's society would have done that. I try to stay away from historic Titanic content because there is a subgroup of the ocean liner community who are specifically Titanic. They know so much about it. If I say one word, it will be disputed. So I try not to even go. I try not to even touch Titanic when I can. I might put opinion pieces out there about my opinions of Titanic, but I try not to cover the history or name names because I'm the kind of person who can make a lot of mistakes despite working really hard to to research, and I don't want to embarrass myself that way. Yeah, Adam, it is really weird that there is a pervasive culture about you must like Normandy and you must like Titanic, and I think that I think that it's possible for someone to respect a ship without liking it. I respect Normandy and its contributions to the oceanic, industry, the ocean line industry. I mean to say, um, but I don't I don't believe I have to like Normandy, you know. And so I thought, there's so many people out there who, they feel like they can't express their opinion because other people will be like, oh, well, your opinion is wrong. And there's no such thing as a wrong opinion. There's only wrong facts. Do I dare? Yeah, I dare. One more little dollop of cream. Okay. Uh, oh, Mark says the Royals follow the Cornish method of jam first, then cream. Oh, okay. Actually, it makes more sense that way, I think, because the jam, I think, would want to like fall off of the cream, so the cream holds it down. Armas Queen asks, why did the Olympic class have 3 propellers and not 4? It's really all about. It's not about going, oh, let's take a guess as how many propellers we need. It's really more like, let's calculate how much propulsion we need, and then we'll figure out what kind of engines can provide us that propulsion while still giving us the amount of money we need from the profit. And then from there, they figure out how many engines, how many propellers they need. So really, it was a carefully calculated move to give the Olympic class 3 propellers as opposed to 4. But yeah, I mean, I don't want people to think like, oh, it was just an abstract choice that they were just like, oh, you know what, let's take a gamble and say we need 3. Like it's carefully chosen how many propellers they need, how much propulsion they need. Ivan says, in my opinion, I think the Olympic class ships have ship lines. Wait. I think the Olympic class ships' lines and exterior were more beautiful than Lusitania class. Okay. Mr. Olive says, people says the Titanic could have been saved if the lookouts had binoculars, which I believe, but that's your opinion. Well, I was watching a video 2 days ago that said the binoculars wouldn't have mattered because binoculars, they only let you see a very small portion of the horizon at a time. And yeah, you can scan the horizon with it, but they said that actually the best way, binoculars are what you use to get a closer look at something, but the way to spot something is with your own bare eyes. You look and scan the horizon, this person says, especially at night. You look and scan the horizon first. If something appears in the distance, then you use your binoculars. And they said that it wouldn't have mattered if they had the binoculars anyway because of the optical illusion that was happening on the horizon that night. It's a bit complicated to explain, but essentially it's the opposite of a mirage. A mirage is where the heat waves reflect the sky onto the ground. Well, what was happening that night was actually the opposite. It was so cold that the ocean was being reflected onto a layer of cold air, and so it brought the horizon up and actually disguised the iceberg. So even in daytime, if you tried to look, the iceberg would have been invisible because of the optical illusion that the ocean was actually a bit higher than usual. I actually saw a real photograph where it showed a ship that appeared to be floating in the sky. But what it was is it was that optical illusion. The horizon was brought up above the natural horizon. So, so it was just really a really weird thing. So the iceberg being so close and the horizon being hidden, they wouldn't have seen it at all, even in daytime. So that's kind of what I was watching about, but Lorraine says, how do you think they should make, or do you think they should make a replication of the Titanic? What, like on land as a museum, or like an actual ocean liner? Because that would change my opinion. Aaron says, what type of bread do you use for the cucumber sandwiches? So I use multi-grain bread. It's my favorite kind of bread, and it's really soft. It's not a stiff bread. It's a really, really soft bread. It goes very well with the sandwiches. But traditionally, you would use a type of just plain white sandwich bread. Von Doom says, why didn't the SS Californian help the Titanic while she was sinking? Because from what I heard, the guy who was operating the Marconi wireless on that ship, on the Californian, he was the only one on that ship doing that, and he was extremely busy and extremely exhausted, and he wanted to go to bed, and I think for some reason there were some initial messages going out of Titanic, and the guy on the Californian ignored it and he went to bed. But by the time the Titanic actually started putting out CQD and SOS, there was no one to answer that call on the Californian. As for the people up on deck of the Californian who saw the Titanic, they assumed it was some old steamer and that it disappeared in the distance. They didn't see anything wrong. So, and then of course there were light signals put out towards the Californian. The Californian didn't see them because of the optical illusion happening on the horizon that night. Little Gamer says, I believe lights would have screwed Titanic even more because if you have lights in the dark gets even darker. That's true. The only thing, when you have lights on, the only thing you can see with the lights is what is directly in the light's way. Everything around the lights becomes really dark. So that's why ships don't have, headlights the way cars do. It doesn't actually help them to have it. And frankly, the light being put out from a headlight on a ship would not go that far. It wouldn't go more than double the... It wouldn't go more than double the length of the ship, essentially, because the light scatters before it even gets that far. So, all right, more jam. It's so cool to be able to use all this Cunard stuff, you know, the butter pat plates, the the teacup, the teapot, all that stuff. It's great to be able to use it and not let it just sit there collecting dust, because it also makes me feel like I'm on a Cunard ship enjoying afternoon tea with you fine people. Good afternoon, you at the Empire of Waterloo. El Nino, I don't want to talk about death while I'm eating necessarily, but essentially the bodies, a lot of them went floating and scattered around the ocean. Many of them eventually got waterlogged and sank. What ship was it? I think it was Mauritania and even Olympic came across bodies in the water. There was another ship. Yeah, as they sailed, they came across bodies in the water and stuff like that. So yeah, not all of them were trapped in the ship. Some were still floating in the water, you know, and some had sank, some had drifted so far that eventually they did sink. One lifeboat was found a month later. I wish I could remember what ship found it. Another ship found it a month later. It was a Titanic lifeboat. And it had something like 3 or 4 crew members on there. And they were deceased and frozen. So... Madeline says, howdy Alex, hope you're doing well. Got any ship related puns or jokes? No, I can't think quickly enough for that. I can make puns and jokes when I'm not thinking about it, but not on command. Thomas Brooks. Yeah, I did ask that, but someone already answered that for me. Someone already answered that it was the ship with 9,000 deaths. Alan James says, Titanic, Marconi operator yelled at Californian, shut up, I'm working Cape Race. Okay. PB says, kind of off topic, but do you think they are changing the whole queue entrance at Pirates Disneyland? Should it be open in time for Fantasmic? I don't keep up with Disneyland news anymore, so this is actually news to me. I didn't even know they were working on the entrance to Pirates. I don't keep up with Disneyland news because I no longer cover that stuff on my channel, and I live 1,000 miles away from Disneyland now, so I don't get down there anymore. So yeah, I don't know anything about what's happening at the Disneyland Resort. Mr. Olive says, what are your thoughts on Titanic 2? Well, it's canceled, but are you asking about the movie? I didn't see the movie. Or are you asking about the actual ship? Lewis Walter says, in love with your channel. Ever since I discovered it recently, I've been watching almost every video. Oh, thanks. Donna Marie says, wouldn't it be cool if your apartment was designed as a stateroom from the past? That was what I wanted to do. When I was getting the apartment, whatever stuff I was purchasing stuff that looked older. So, you know, like this tray, for example, that holds, like, all my tea service is in the same the same shape and style as the one used on Queen Mary, except this is a wood color. The one on Queen Mary was black. But um, yeah, so I've tried purchasing, things around my apartment that look old. But the funny thing was that when I got here, I thought it'd be really easy to make my apartment look like it's a stateroom on an ocean liner. It was really difficult to do that because when I got here, the apartment was not the color I expected. Because my previous apartment, the walls were a more wood color. They, like I say, wood color. They were like a type of light coffee brown, and I thought that'll work. That'll work because with the decorations, it'll make it look like like a wood paneled room or something. It wasn't the same color. The carpet wasn't the same color I thought it was going to be. And then all the hardware and everything in the apartment was so new looking. I was just like, I realized like none of my old stuff fits with it. So I would love to have that. I was going for that when I first came here, but then the whole apartment looked very different than other apartments. It looked way too modern for it to work. So that's unfortunate. Our Miss Queen Mary says, does Cunard have a right to White Star Line? Yes, they own White Star Line currently, and they use White Star logos and fonts. They also use White Star names. So there's a famous restaurant on Cunard ships right now called Veranda Grill. It was even on the Queen Mary as well. The Veranda Grill was on the Queen Mary. The Veranda name was a White Star name. It was a cafe they had on ships. So you might notice that the Titanic had a Veranda cafe. Well, because Cunard now owns White Star Line, and it's still somewhere in there deep in the company, they're able to use those names. So that's an example of it. KSG gained, thank you so much, €2. Hi Alex, finally able to catch a stream 1 a.m. here. Wow, that is early in the morning. But thank you for watching. Little Gamer says, if Titanic had more time, 3 hours and 40 minutes, but less boats, would there have been more survivors? And if it had more lifeboats, faster davits, but only... Oh, that's a lot of different questions. Ultimately, it comes down to how many people could be saved as quickly as possible. And the only ship that answered that night was the only ship let me rephrase that. The ship that arrived the fastest was Carpathia. And from the time of reporting that the ship was going down, they said that they'd be there in 4 hours. So even if the Titanic had an extra hour, it still wouldn't have made a difference because Carpathia was still a long ways off. So, maybe floating around in the water would have saved... if the people floating in the water, if they had 1 hour less to wait, maybe a lot more would have been saved. Maybe like 100 people more. Maybe. But that's a huge maybe. So, I really... Yeah, that's a very complex question. I'm not prepared to answer it. Ivan says, is it true that someone on land actually picked up Titanic's distress calls? I don't know. I don't know much about Titanic. Like I said, I try not to talk about Titanic because there are people out there who know so much about it. It would take me years to catch up to what they know. And so if I say anything, people are going to dispute it, So I try not to even go near that. I try to actually research ships that less people know as much about. So, all right, see you later, Mr. Olives. Mark Hooper says, I will have to cheat today, Alex, but I'll be going to High Street after work to buy some fresh scones. You have inspired me. I've heard that before from British folks. High Street. What does that mean? Is it like a marketplace? Boy, everybody keeps asking me Titanic questions. I'm going to have to stop answering Titanic questions, guys, because I don't know that much about it. I mean, really, I know as much as like the movies have told me, and I know as much as I've seen a few YouTube videos from Titanic Honor and Glory, but I by no means know any of that stuff about Titanic. And like I said, I'm reluctant to talk about it because of the fact that it's such a well-known topic that because I'm so inexperienced at it, people would tear me apart. Alan James says, just a shopping street. Oh, okay. Whoa. Armis Queen Mary says, my mom is buying me a Queen Mary model, a Lusitania model, a Carpathia model, and a Britannic model. Are they all the same scale? Because I've been looking for models that are all the same scale and haven't found them. So if your mom knows where I can get these models, that would be great, because unless it's all from Titanic Honor and Glory. But they don't have a Queen Mary model. They said that, I'm a little frustrated about that. I was really looking forward to buying a bunch of models from Titanic Honor and Glory because they have all kinds of models from various ships, right? And they were previewing a model of the Queen Mary, and all their models are the same scale, which means that you can actually compare and contrast the sizes and appearance of the ships because they're all the same scale. So I was getting excited. I was like, awesome. Once they have the Queen Mary model out, I'm going to go and buy like 3 or 4 different models. So that way I can, have them all at once, and I'll paint them myself just to make the process go faster. Well, then they backtracked and said, we're not producing any new models anymore. We're just going to keep making the models we have. And I was like, dang it, because now, I already have a Titanic model. It's 1/350th scale. I don't necessarily need another one. But now if I buy any other models, like Mauritania or anything, then none of my models will be the same scale. If they were selling a Queen Mary model, I would have bought their Queen Mary model, their Titanic model of the same scale, their Mauritania model, and maybe something else. I think there's a 4th model. Not Lusitania, because I can do without Lusitania. But there was a 4th one, and I would have bought them all. And now I have to wait, because now they canceled that. So Queen Mary says they're different sizes and they're all on Amazon. Really? I've tried looking for them on Amazon. I can't find them. Well, except for the really cruddy Queen Mary ones. The last time a Queen Mary model was produced, actually sculpted and sold as a model kit, was 1986. They haven't updated the way it looks and made it more accurate since then. It's so frustrating. I really wish a modern model company would produce a Queen Mary model. Louis Walter says, have you / would you ever paint a photo of the Queen Mary? Yes, actually, I would. Maybe not paint. I am looking into, I can paint landscapes, but I can't paint anything as precise as an ocean liner. So I'm actually considering ways of doing ocean liner artwork using my colored pencils. So I do know how to use colored pencils. and I have a lot of high quality art stuff. I don't know, for lack of a better word, art stuff. And I could produce some artwork of the Queen Mary. And I want to do that. I want to make, like, a few different portraits of the Queen Mary at sea, and then of other ships as well, like Mauritania and stuff. But my favorite ships, not just any ships, but my favorite ships. And then I'd like to have those digitally scanned, see if I can sell postcards, bookmarks, posters, that kind of thing. I'd like to try to do that. That's something I think I need to do, actually. But I haven't found the time to do it because I'm producing so much YouTube content. So I'm kind of being spread thin at the moment. But yes, I would. Mark Cooper says, I'm Australian, but yes, the high street is where all the main town shops are, e.g. bakery, jewelers, banks. Oh, okay, that's why. Okay. Donna Marie says, my grandfather rode home from World War II on the deck of the Queen Mary. He showed us before he passed away. I live in San Diego. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I've heard so many stories of people who their family members have sailed on the Queen Mary. Really amazing stuff. Have a little bit of my sandwich here. It's so warm in my apartment right now that the sandwiches are melting. Ooh. Yeah, they're melting. So get this. I live too far away from the grocery store to go grocery shopping on a consistent basis. And I don't have a car, so I can't drive there. I can't walk there, you know. So I have to order my groceries online and whatever. Every time I order dill, fresh dill for my sandwiches, I have to order multiple boxes of it because sometimes they will literally give me rotten dill. I'm not even kidding. They do not even look at the boxes. It's black, it's moldy, it's rotten. They will give me rotten dill. I got so tired of it. I'm like, you know, maybe I'll just switch to dry dill. So I bought a jar of dried dill and used it today. And it's gross. It's gross. It does not taste at all like fresh dill. I thought it would taste something like fresh dill, but it tastes old, the dried dill. So, and it's funny because I haven't had dried dill in a long time, at least since I was a kid, because we've never cooked with dill usually, and whenever we do, we always buy it fresh. So I was like, I thought dried dill wouldn't be so bad, and so I decided to make the sandwiches. It's not the same. Let me tell you guys right now, dried dill in the sandwiches is not at all the same as fresh dill. At all. It's a complete different flavor entirely. It tastes like... You know the protective paper that is inside of a cigar box that wraps all the cigars together? It's like tissue paper. It tastes like someone had taken that protective cigar box tissue paper and ground it up and put it in my sandwich. That's what it tastes like. That is not at all the way fresh dill tastes. And so I decided I am not going to use dried dill anymore. I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing and ordering a bunch of fresh dill and hope that the frickin' people who put together my order will know what fresh dill is supposed to look like. Because that is disgusting. Those sandwiches are honestly gross right now. I do not want to eat them. El Nino says, Alex, are you releasing a video on the Spruce Goose? Yes, but you have to give me time. A lot of people have actually been asking about where's the video? Where's the video? It takes a long time because it's not just filming a video and then just talking. I have to research it. and then write a story around it, and then I have to narrate it, and then the editing process. It takes weeks. It takes weeks and weeks and weeks to do it, and I haven't even started yet because I'm still working on the other videos I promised I would have out. So, like, I have like 3 more videos to put out before I can even get to the Spruce Goose video. So it's going to take time. It takes so much time to make these these history videos. So you guys will notice that on my channel, I have started putting out opinion videos. And the reason why is because people are asking me for my history videos, and they take so long to make that people don't, they're getting impatient about, getting videos done. So I've been putting out these opinion videos in hopes that that it can hold people off until I have those history videos out. Because again, it's not like I do a quick Google search and then just write everything down and repeat it. It actually takes a lot of work, and then finding the images to go with it. Thankfully, I was able to take a lot of video of the Spruce Goose at the museum, so I don't think I have to worry so much about the images, but there is still historic images I need to get. I need to get images of the plane flying. I need to get images of Howard Hughes and his company and them constructing it, and there's a lot of work to be done. And so it is a lot of work. What I have done since then, though, is, so if you've seen my funnels and stacks video, and then the video I published today, what was the video I published today? Whether or not we could live on ocean liners. Those videos are designed so I'm sitting in front of the camera and I'm talking to the camera. So I did film a pre-video that talks about the history of the Spruce Goose, and I was thinking I'll put that out until I can actually put the actual Spruce Goose video out. But the problem with that video is I'm so terrible at talking directly to a recording camera, because I can't say what I want to say without going, or taking a moment to go, did I say that right? Did I have the information correct? And then I finish filming the whole thing, I review it, and then I go, oh, I said the wrong year, or oh, I said the wrong name. And then I have to go back and refilm it. So I was like, you know what, even though I filmed this whole thing on the Spruce Goose, in front of the camera, it's useless. I can't use it. So you're just going to have to wait for the official history video to come out on the Spruce Goose. I don't know when that will be. It's going to be after 3 videos from now. So, yeah. It's going to take a while. Could be a couple weeks. So, yeah. Mishy Cat says, hey Alex, I know you said you don't really follow Disney news anymore, especially about Disney World, but did you hear about the controversial performance that a Texan drill team did there recently? No, I haven't heard of that. Chris says, hey Alex, watching from a plane. A plane? Where are you going? Skyzilla says, Alex, what if the Queen Mary sank, and how would it play out if it was hit by a sea mine? I don't know. That's a complicated question. That will take me several minutes to answer. Tyler says, Alex, I'm so sorry you are having a hard time grocery shopping on Amazon. I wish I can help you. Yeah, I know. It just really sucks. I also have Instacart, but Instacart it's okay, but they expect like a bigger tip than I would give for Amazon. So I'm kind of like, ugh. I feel like I'm spending more on Instacart than I am on Amazon. I was actually looking at groceries on Instacart the other day because I was going to buy my groceries on Instacart. But the groceries costed more on Instacart than they did on Amazon. So I was like, well, like why, Little Gamer says, What would your dream ship as a passenger look like? The Queen Mary, I guess. Ivan says, what editing software do you use, if you don't mind me asking? I use Adobe Premiere Pro. Thank you, MLGHA. El Nino says, did you hear about the Boeing plane crash in China? I heard there was a plane crash in China, but I didn't look into it. Okay. Lorraine says, why don't you grow your own dill? One, because I don't have the time to focus on plants. Two, because I have what they call it, a brown thumb. I basically kill everything I take care of. And three, the weather here does not permit year-round growing stuff. So we are entering spring, thankfully, so I could technically start growing dill now. But we do have occasional freezing weather still. So I'd be worried about starting to grow dill and then it dying from the freezing weather. And then usually whenever I grow plants, they get infested with stuff. So again, I have what they say, a brown thumb. I kill everything I try to grow. So I'm not even good at taking care of pets, which is why I don't have pets. So yeah, I'm not good at that. Ivan Joseph says, would you do a collab with Sam? Who's Sam? Skyzilla says, Alex, what's your least favorite and favorite ship? Well, my favorite ship is Armis Queen Mary. That's easy to answer. Least favorite... There's a lot of least favorites. Basically, almost any ship, any passenger ship built after World War II, I don't like. Yeah, I have a lot of least favorites. But you know, even then, I still have a lot of least favorites from before the war as well, because I'm very particular about what liners I think look nice. So, yeah, it's hard to say. I have a lot of least favorites. And frankly, judging by the way people reacted to my Normandy video, I'm reluctant to actually name names now, because people are going to unsubscribe for me for pointing out their favorite ship as my least favorite. Ivan says, Sam from Historic Travels. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd collaborate with him if he had a specific idea in mind. Oh yeah, I know who Historic Travels is. I don't usually call these people by name. I'm not on a first name basis with them yet. So so at first I was like, who's Sam? But I know who Sam is. Skyzilla says, unsubscribing because of an opinion? Some people really need to grow up. I like the Normandy you saw from my comment, but I still respected your opinion on Normandy. Yeah, that is unfortunate because when I made that Normandy video, some people were just so upset. So upset. They told me my opinions were wrong, and I'm like, you know, an opinion on something aesthetic can't be wrong because it's an opinion. It can't be right either. It's an opinion. But some people, they can't stand hearing anything negative about something that they love. They want to distance themselves from anybody that disagrees with the way that they think. And that's not who I am, you know. I have all kinds of friends, people who have certain interests in different aesthetics, different ships, different cars, different everything. I have people who have different views on politics. And the thing is, you know, I'm going to live my life the way I think I should live it. And I think my friends should live their lives the way that they want to live it. If they want to think that, you know, the color orange is a perfect color, and I don't think so, then that's fine with me. You know, that kind of thing. Like, it doesn't matter to me. The only time I'd be really concerned is if they're actually, like, hurting someone. But, you know, it's just the thing is, like, I don't know. I don't understand people who have to shut out the world because they don't like what the world has to say. Misha Cat says, I hear you about the plant thing. I have plants in my home, but I have cats and they like to nibble on them. Yeah. I don't have cats, but my sister has cats, and I know what you're talking about. Lorraine says, your tea set is lovely. Never seen a square teapot. Yeah, all this is Cunard, a Cunard tea service. So the teapot, everything is from the ships like Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, so it's all at least, all of this stuff is at least 50, 55 years old at the least. Nothing newer than 55 years old. So, yeah, it's really great. It's all Art Deco style. It was the design was created in the 1930s for the Queen Mary, and then they continued using the same design for decades until the Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth retired. The two ships, Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth. There's still a lot of tea in here? Yeah, okay, good. So yeah, they're all vintage china, and I love them. This is my most prized possession. If I came home and these were stolen, or if I came home and someone smashed them all, my soul would be broken. So, yeah. Mike Murrens is part of cancel culture. Yep. I like to listen to people. I don't like to cancel them. Of course, there's some people who don't actually... There's some people who pretend that they're sharing their opinions, but really what they're doing is they're trying to get everybody angry. Those are called trolls. And those are probably the only people I ever removed from my channel, because like I said, trolls, they're not interested in actually having an intelligent conversation about something and expressing their differences. They're there to stir the pot and get everybody riled up. So those are the people I remove from my channel, but I won't remove people from my channel just because they like a ship that I don't, you know? And so it's funny, I think I had 5 people unsubscribe, at least as far as I know. 5 people unsubscribed from that video after watching it. It's hard to know the amount because YouTube only tracks the positive and negative amount. So far, that video has actually created 11 subscribers. So even if people unsubscribed, whatever that number was, it's now positive 11. So I actually gained more subscribers than I lost on that video, which is actually pretty cool. And someone else in the comments was like, I think Alex inadvertently created what do they call that? I think Alex inadvertently created a support group for people who don't like Normandy. Because if you look at my comment section on that video, there were so many people who agreed with my opinions on the Normandy, and it was almost as if they've never been able to say that to anyone. And I think that's partly true. I think that sometimes people get so upset when you express your opinions about ocean liners, they will bully you for it. And it's sad, you know? One person told me, I like all ocean liners, so I don't understand when someone doesn't like one. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't understand people who like all ocean liners. You know, even car people have specific cars that they like. Like, if you're a fan of cars, you might like a 67 Mustang, but that doesn't mean you're going to like a 2008 Prius. You know, like, people have preferences. That's normal, you know, and I have preferences for ocean liners, you know. But I think it's important to say that just because I don't like Normandy doesn't mean I can't appreciate that it was the best example of French Art Deco style. It really was. I'm not a fan of French Art Deco, but but Normandy was the best example of French Art Deco style. Normandy had very advanced engineering. It didn't beat Queen Mary's speed, though, but it did have very advanced engineering. You know, Normandy had a lot of firsts, and I can recognize that. But I don't have to like the way the ship looks, you know? So, that's just, you know, my thing. Jet Lincoln says, my favorite liners were Bremen and Europa, but it's rarely on anyone's list. It's an opinion, though. I've seen the outside of Bremen, but I haven't seen too much of the inside. I'll have to look that up. And Europa, I've never heard of Europa before, so that's a new one for me. PB says, do you still keep in touch with the Matterhorn Matt gang? No, they went their way, I went my way. I think they're all still in the Disney part of the community. I left the Disney community, essentially, because I'm just so far away from all that. And even my friends, all my friends live in Southern California, so I live a completely different life now. So it didn't make sense for me to continue covering Disney stuff on my channel constantly. So, yeah, but that's, yeah. I miss some of my friends, though. It's just... Well, I say some of my friends. I miss my friends. I do. I don't know why I said some, but I miss my friends. So, El Nino says, I'm new to the Spruce Goose. So where did the name Spruce Goose come from? That's a funny story, actually. Because the spruce part of Spruce Goose was because the newspapers at the time were printing articles saying that this giant wooden boat can't fly. That they were saying it just can't, you know, like, no one believed it. It was the biggest airplane in the world. No one believed it could fly. And it was made of wood, so newspapers were printing that it was the spruce goose because it was made of spruce, but it wasn't. It was made of birch. But birch goose doesn't sound good. So they called it spruce goose. And the goose part is because the belly of the plane is flat. The whole plane is not designed to be on a runway. It's designed to float on the water. So, so it's got a flat bottom that kind of, if you look at it, especially when you stand in the front of it and you look right at it, it looks like the breast of a goose. And so it looks like, yeah, so they call it a spruce goose. That's where it got the name. But that is a name that Howard Hughes did not approve of. He did not like that because it was a name to make fun of it. The actual name of the airplane is the H-4 Hercules. So that's the actual name of it, H-4 Hercules. Gaming with Kim says, where did you get that RMS Titanic model? I bought it as a kit in 2012. It's from Minicraft. So that's the company that makes it. Minicraft 1/350th scale Titanic. And I put together the whole kit myself in 2012. MLGHA says, I think the Paris and France were better looking than Normandy. I agree. Thoughts on the Imperator class? I haven't seen too much of the Imperator class, so I actually don't have an opinion on that. Let's see. Mike Burns says, Alex, I like the RMS Aquitania, but you don't. But we still get along. No. No. I do like the Aquitania. I just don't like the outside. The outside of the Aquitania I don't like. The inside is beautiful. It's absolutely a beautiful ship on the inside. So I do like the Aquitania. And it's got a storied history. So yeah, there's a whole lot there I like. I just don't like the outside of the Aquitania. Thomas Brooks says, I think that there are a lot of people who can't hear any arguments about anything that they disagree with. And I hope that people will become better when listening to people's opposing opinions. Well said. Corinne says, have you ever wanted to visit France? Yes, actually. Eventually, my friend and I, we want to take the Queen Mary 2 to the UK. And our plan is to be there for about 2 weeks. And in that time, we plan to visit Paris. Because there's a lot of history there, lots of beautiful architecture, lots of amazing things that, you know, as a person you have to see. So, you know, so part of our plan is to stop in Paris for, I think, 2 days, or actually more, because part of that time we spend in Paris, we want to be visiting Disneyland Paris. So, so yeah, I think a few days we plan to spend in Disneyland Paris, maybe 3 at maximum, and then 2 days in Paris itself to enjoy the city and record a video for a bunch of new videos for my channel. So yes, I do plan to visit Paris. I'm excited too because maybe when I get there, Notre Dame will reopen. I heard it's going to reopen in 2023, 2024 maybe. So I might see it. That would be really exciting. I remember seeing Notre Dame burning on TV back in 2019, and it broke my heart seeing that. I've always wanted to visit Notre Dame. So I'm hoping that maybe when I go, it'll be open. Oh, Lorraine says you're signing off. Okay, well, have a good night. Thank you for watching. Mark Cooper says, I love the Bremen and Europa. They were ultra sleek for their time. Yeah, I do remember. Wasn't Bremen the one that captured the blue ribbon from Mauritania? Is that right? Or was that one of the imperators that captured it from Mauritania, and then Bremen captured it from the imperators? I forget how it goes, but yeah. Tyler says, do you like the SS America, which later became Australis? I don't like any of the American ocean liners. Actually, I don't. None of them have the style I like from either the outside or the inside. So I'm not a fan of the American liners. Gaming with Kin says, one thing I don't like about RMS Queen Mary is the stirred. It just looks funny in my opinion. I don't know. I think you mean stern. Yeah, a lot of people talk about the stern because the Queen Mary has a what's called a cruiser stern, which was becoming more popular at that time. Ocean liners started to be made with cruiser sterns. I'm used to looking at cruiser sterns because of warships, and warships, they, a lot of them had, especially the cruisers, they had cruiser sterns. So it's not weird looking to me just because I'm used to looking at warships. But yeah, I do believe people who are fans of the really old liners with the clipper sterns think it's cool. See, the funny thing is, I think clipper sterns look weird. The clipper sterns are the ones that are seen on Titanic, with the... I can actually lift it up here. A clipper stern is the rounded stern there. But you see, the thing about the clipper stern is, what does it look like? Hold on. Yeah, what does that look like to you? To me, that looks like a toilet. The reason why I don't like clipper sterns is because they look like a toilet on the end. So every time I see the ships go by, I just picture a giant toilet on the end of the ship. So, yeah. That's why I don't like clipper sterns. But I can deal with clipper sterns because I'm used to looking at them, but yeah. Little Gamer says, I'm making a ocean liner in Minicraft exterior only. Interesting. What ocean liner? Corinne says, if you have time, please visit Nice. Yeah, I know how to pronounce Nice. When you visit France, that is my home city. It's near Monaco. Nice is very far from Paris. We won't be able to go down there. In fact, we had plans to visit, I'm going to try to pronounce this, Mont Saint-Michel. I think that's what it's called. It's a famous, for those who don't know, it's a famous castle. It's located on a rock that is sitting way out in the tidelands. So it's like a castle and its little community sitting on this rock. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Me and my friend want to visit that, but the problem is it is literally a 3-hour train ride, or 2 train rides, I should say. It's a 3-hour double train ride away from Paris, and we can't travel that far. So even Mont Saint Michel, we can't go that far. Nice is even farther. It's towards the south of France, so we can't go there too far. Mark Cooper says, I love the SS America / Australis. Many immigrants arrived into Australia aboard Australis right up until 1976. I saw her in Sydney in 1975. I was in awe. That must be pretty amazing. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot A lot of ships I do like, but American ocean liners, I don't know what it is. I don't like the way that they look. Okay, so Skyzilla says Bremen caught it from Mauritania. Okay. Haley says, what attractions do you want to ride when you go to Disneyland Paris? The Disneyland Railroad, Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, though that's not high on my list, but Pirates of the Caribbean. I can't think of very many that I'm specifically looking forward to riding. But the reason why is because when I go there, I want to go there to walk around and enjoy the atmosphere of the park. Even when I'm at Disneyland in California, I don't go there for the rides anymore. When I was a kid, I did. I went there, I was always like, let's get on rides, let's go on rides. And I would go on rides like crazy. Oh, I'm also looking forward to Phantom Manor. Sorry, I almost forgot that. Phantom Manor, yes, I'm looking forward to Phantom Manor. But yeah, now that I'm older, I actually look forward more to the atmosphere. So that's why I'm not a theme park person. People say, Alex, you should visit this theme park and that theme park. And I'm like, I don't like theme parks. I'm not a theme park person. But I like Disney parks because of their atmosphere. They have beautiful scenery a lot of times. Not all of them. California Adventure. But yeah, so when I go to Disneyland Paris, it's going to be to see Disneyland there and just experience the beauty of the park, especially. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I have no plans to visit the what is it called? The Hollywood Studios park next door. I have no plans to visit that at all. My friend is like, "Oh, I'm going there." I'm like, "You can go there. I'm not going there." I would rather spend an extra day while my friend is at the Hollywood Studios park having fun there. I'm going to be in the Disneyland park just enjoying my time because I do not want to visit that park. But yeah, so I'm not really going there for the rides necessarily, though I do have a few that I'm looking forward to. Let's see. Mike Morin says, think the Bremen was the ship with real short funnels. Yes, I think that's true. I think it had a short funnels. Jet says they were enlarged after the refit, so that's interesting. Were the Bremen and Europa, were they steam ships or were they motor ships? Did they have like diesel engines? I'm curious to know because usually squat funnels are put on ocean liners that have like diesel engines. Wait, so SS Liberty won the Blue Ribbon? When? Because as far as I know, it went Mauritania, Bremen, Normandy, Queen Mary, and then finally SS United States. So I don't remember Liberty being on that list. MLGHA says, ruined the Clipper sterns for some of us. I'll be seeing a lot more toilets now. I'm telling you, they look like toilets to me. Every time I see it, the ships going by, I'm like, I look at the end of the ship and it looks like a toilet just floating through the water. Let's see. Skyzilla says, Alex, have you ever had to deal with angry Titanic fans on your channel whenever someone made an opinion and tried to put everyone who disagreed down? Because I know I have many times. Yes. Yes. Usually whenever I talk negatively about Titanic in any way, there is at least one crazy Titanic fan who goes crazy on me and tells me I'm wrong and stuff. So yes. A lot of them, though, I've noticed a lot of these crazy Titanic fans. Not all of them are adults. Many of them are just kids who are just starting out in the ocean liner community, and the only ship that they love is Titanic. That's why I made my video. The one talking about how overrated Titanic really is because there's a lot more ships out there that these young kids have not yet discovered because they're still stuck in that bubble where they don't want to see any other ship as possibly better than Titanic. I think that there were numerous ships that beat Titanic in terms of beauty, luxury, and quality. And easily someone could pick any one of those other ships over Titanic, but there's people who are just stuck in Titanic. And that's okay. If you're older and if you can at least appreciate other ships but still like Titanic more, then I'm cool with that. But I'm talking about the kids who have only discovered Titanic, and every time you show them a picture of another ocean liner, they're like, nope, ugly, you know. Corinne says Air France can fly from CDG to Nice, which is an hour. Yeah, I know, but it is a lot more money too. So it's just a lot of hassle just to go down to Nice. Jeffrey Charles says, did you hear Maynard is retiring? Did you know him from when you worked at Disneyland? I didn't personally know him, but yes, even when I worked at Disneyland, Maynard was a very prominent character. So he's worked at Disney for I think 25 years, so he definitely deserves his nice retirement and stuff. But yeah, I never personally knew him. Gaming with Kin says, is it true that RMS Queen Mary is skinnier than RMS Queen Elizabeth? No. They have the same, what's called, what's it called? What's the official word for width? Beam. They have the same beam, so same width of 118 feet. The difference was length. RMS Queen Elizabeth was 10 feet longer only because they extended the front of her bow to be pointier by 10 feet. They just moved it 10 feet forward and made it pointier. But yeah, they have the exact same dimensions. And here's the other thing. So you want to talk about Titanic fans being crazy. When I try to tell people that Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth were once designed to be sister ships, people go nuts. Because in my research, I have found that both ships were designed originally, hear me out till I'm done, were originally designed in 1929 at the same time. The idea was that they were going to make a nearly identical Queen Mary, and that would be the next ship, which they hadn't decided on a name yet, but they were probably estimating Queen Elizabeth at that time. But Queen Mary the ships were so big that the John Brown shipyards didn't have the room to build both of them simultaneously. So Queen Mary had to go first. So Queen Mary was built first, she was launched, and then soon after they prepared the slipway to construct Queen Elizabeth. Now, when that happened, Queen Mary had already had a lot of different, I'm not going to say problems, but just issues that needed to be resolved. And so the company, in the middle of them laying down the hull for Queen Elizabeth, the company was taking notes on all these things they wanted to correct with the next ship. So Queen Mary, she was expensive to run, so they wanted the second ship to be cheaper to run, more efficient with fuel. The next ship, they wanted it to have more interior room for spaces and stuff like that. So long story short, the Queen Elizabeth was modified. Her original plans were modified as her hull was being laid down in John Brown shipyards. So she's not technically considered a true sister ship, but she did start out that way. and but the hulls of both ships, if you consider the difference of the 10-foot pointier bow on Queen Elizabeth, other than that, they had identical shaped hulls, same dimensions, everything. They were identical shaped hulls. The difference between the ships starts with what's inside the ship and the superstructure all the way up to the funnels. So, but yes, they were originally going to be sister ships, and in 1929 is when they first designed both of them. While I was talking, a whole bunch of comments. Jennifer Whiting says, Titanic has the Kennedy effect. It's only cool because it sank, just like we only remember him because he was assassinated. Rest his soul. But you know what I mean. Yeah, that's true. There were a lot of, very, I will say, notable presidents. But it's only after death that people really start to appreciate certain people. And then some people become infamous after their death. Yeah. Jet Lincoln says that both Bremen and Europa held the blue ribbon. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, they were geared steam turbines. Okay. So they were steam engines. So then I bet that the reason why they had to heighten the funnels was probably because the soot and stuff was getting in the passengers' faces up on the boat deck, I imagine. Europa secured the blue ribbon in 1930, never held the title when it was renamed Liberty, or Liberté, or I don't know how to pronounce that. Skyzilla says, I honestly think the Queen Mary beat Titanic in luxury. Better fitted and looks, but that's just my opinion. I love Titanic, but I can choose one ship over the other in looks, but the other the same. Yeah, I mean, there are many ships that definitely surpassed Titanic in luxury after Titanic sank, So there are Titanic fans who think no ship, even to this day, can compare, but there were ships that surpassed it, and Queen Mary was definitely one of them, Even just the accommodations, most of Titanic's first-class passengers still had to share toilets and tubs. But on Queen Mary, there was a higher percentage of first-class passengers that had their own bathrooms. Of course, there were still some first-class... No. Let me correct myself. Every first-class cabin on the Queen Mary had its own, at least its own toilet, if not shower. It's at least its own toilet. But in second class, that's where some cabins had bathrooms, some didn't. And then third class, pretty much everybody in third class had to share public restrooms. I often talk about how much greater third class was on Queen Mary as opposed to other ships before her, and that's true. Third class accommodations on Queen Mary were better than other ships at the time. But it still isn't good by today's standards. So when people tell me, Alex, they should bring back Queen Mary's third class cabins so people could stay in them, and I go, you would not want to stay in Queen Mary's third class cabins, as a vacation. They were uncomfortable. They were great by those standards of the time, but today, I mean, there were on average about 40. No. On average, about 20 cabins shared a group of public restrooms. 20 cabins, and those cabins could have 2 to 6 people in them. I don't believe there were any cabins that had 8 people, just 6, but 6 was the most because that was usually like if a family was traveling together. But yeah, like nobody today would pay a lot of money to stay in one of Queen Mary's third class cabins. Corrine says, if I was able to, I would have donated 300 euros and you and your friend could have visited Nice. gotta stop doing that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know. But honestly, yeah. I don't know. I'm sure that Nice is a great place to visit, but we only have so much time on our trip, and if we went to Nice, we'd have to stay there overnight. We couldn't leave the same day, so it would be a lot of work because we're going to be carrying a lot of stuff with us, or our camera equipment, all that stuff. I'm trying to avoid airplanes as much as possible. I think on our whole trip, we only plan to be on one flight. Well, okay, I should actually correct that. I will have to fly to New York, but from Portland, I'll have to fly from Portland to New York. But other than that, the only other plane flight that me and my friend have planned for the entire trip is our flight from London to Belfast, because we plan to visit the Titanic Museum in Belfast and stay a night in Belfast. But yeah, it'd be nice to visit Nice, but I have to be honest, I don't think we would do it. Even if you wanted to donate money towards it, I would say save that, because I don't think we'd do it. It's too far, and yeah, we could take a plane flight if someone donated the money, but I don't think even then we could spare the time to do it, because there's so much we want to do. We have it carefully planned out. Like every day we have it planned out. We want to. Yeah, we have every day planned out very carefully, and I don't think we even have the time to push everything else, because if we tried to spend 2 days on a trip back from Nice, it would take away from the other stuff we want to do. So we can't. Even if we had the money, we can't devote the time to go to Nice. Oh, why did I do that? That belongs here. In case you're wondering, I'm not going to finish that sandwich. The dried dill that I put in there tastes disgusting. I do not want to eat that. So from now on, I'm switching to fresh dill forever. I can't eat that sandwich. It is that bad. It tastes like cigar wrappings. Let's see. I saw Fox Starline somewhere. Say hey there, Fox Starline. NCC says, thoughts on RMS Coronia, the one built in 1947. I have only seen one photograph of Coronia, so I actually have no idea what it looks like or what it was like. I don't know enough to even give you my thoughts on Coronia. Thomas Brooks says, when I get the chance to see Queen Mary when she reopens, I want to bring a nice set of clothes and walk around her all day. Same here. When the Queen Mary reopens, I would like to go down to Southern California, visit my family, visit my friends, and then definitely spend a lot of time on Queen Mary, film the entire ship from stem to stern, from top to bottom, film everything I possibly can, so I can make a whole lot more videos about the Queen Mary in the future. There's so much more to talk about, and I just don't have the footage of it yet. So I need to film it because, there's so much to talk about that I need visuals to go with it. Gaming with Kim says, what's the difference between HMHS, HMT? So HMHS is His Majesty's Hospital Ship, or it would be Her Majesty's Hospital Ship if it was today. So depending on what the gender of the monarch is, it would be His Majesty's or Her Majesty's. Um, and then HMT. I don't know. I know HMTS. HMTS is His Majesty's troop ship or Her Majesty's troop ship. But I don't know HMT. Corinne says, you could have stayed with me. My apartment is huge enough for 5 people. I know, but me and my friend don't know you. So, yeah. But still, we don't have the time. It's not necessarily just the money, but it's the time. So Corinne says, I understand, but if you have the time in the future, will you visit Nice? Maybe one day. Maybe. I can't promise anything because my trip on the RMS Queen Mary 2 will be, for me, like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. I don't normally have the money to travel like that. Not unless this YouTube channel really takes off and it earns me so much money I can travel everywhere. That'd be kind of cool, but as far as I know, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do traveling like that for a long time afterwards, so I honestly don't know. But anyway, we are coming up on our 2-hour mark, and I'm actually going to end this live stream. I've finished what I've wanted to finish. I had my scones. HMT stands for His Majesty's Transport. Oh, okay. Her Majesty's Transport. Transport what? Would it be like a supply transport? I wonder if that's what it is. But anyway, so the next tea time, what is today? Tuesday. Next tea time is on Thursday, 4 p.m. I think some of my scones will last till Thursday, so I might have scones again on Thursday. And then hopefully Thursday I'll be back to fresh dill on my sandwiches. And then tomorrow, do I have a video being published tomorrow? I think I have something publishing tomorrow. And then Friday or Saturday will be another video. Gosh. Yeah, just expect videos almost every day of this week. Just expect that. So yeah, see you all on Thursday for the next tea time. Thank you all for watching. Cargo says Jetlink. Okay. Gaming with Kin. No, I don't live in California. I live in Northern Oregon. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you all on Thursday. Bye-bye.